Hi, my name is Megan and I'm a knitter and musician and music teacher and millennial in Southern Alberta, and I'm coming to you today with my Hey Mom podcast. This is Bonnie. She's probably going to leave pretty soon, but she just wanted to come and say hi. She's one of my two cats here with my partner, and she loves coming and visiting. So that's Bonnie for you. So today I'm coming to you as my Hey Mom podcast. I've been thinking about starting a podcast for a long time. I operate as Rowan Cottonwoods on Instagram and have been there for about 2 years. Once I started my knitting Instagram, and I really enjoy it. And I've always wanted to do a podcast. And 3 months ago, my mom passed away. I'm 29. So that's a really big loss. I'm not married yet. I don't have kids yet. So it was pretty shocking. And my mom was a really prolific maker in a lot of ways. She did some knitting. She did a lot of crochet. She did cross stitch. She did tons of quilting, especially in her retirement. Absolutely prolific. And I would always talk to my mom. She didn't live here. She lived quite a far ways away. And so we'd talk on the phone until late in the night, and then she didn't want to hang up and I didn't want to hang up. And so she'd say, "Hey, what you working on?" And so I'd fill her in with all of my knitting goodness. So my mom's passed away and I don't have that anymore. And so I had wanted to do a podcast for a long time, and so even more now. So this is my way of talking to a wonderful community and opening up to a wonderful community as I go through that grieving process, but also sharing what I'm knitting and what I'm working on and what's been going on. So I had the idea of calling it my Hey Mom podcast on a big walk that I had in the coulees a few weeks ago. We've got some really, really beautiful coulees where I live, and I usually listen to music on my walks, but I said, no music, and I did. And it was absolutely beautiful, and I was like, hey, I miss talking to Mom about my knitting. So, and I can't do that anymore. And so I'm going to talk to a wonderful and positive and encouraging community, and no matter what your faith is, no matter what creed you believe, like it feels like I'm still talking to Mom. So, hi. I hope you're all having a good day today. Today is Monday, May the 15th. It's my nephew's birthday today. He's 11, so I'm going to give him a call once he's home from school. And I've got lots to show you today. So, and Bonnie's still hanging out. So if you're wondering what I'm up to down here, that's what's down here. That's just Bonnie. So as you can hopefully see at the very bottom of that frame. So let's talk about some knitting. So let's jump right into finished objects. And I just finished this earlier this afternoon. So here is my Shift Again by Andrea Mowry. And I am absolutely thrilled with how it has come out. So I'll give you a nice little close-up of all of the different colors. And my main color is Calluna from Peerie, Brooklyn Tweed Peerie. I have to look up that color name again, but the different contrast colors that I used. And so of course my main color was not a color changing yarn at all, but my contrast colors are color changing. They're from Spincycle, and it's Spincycle Dream State, Dyed in the Wool that I used. And so you can see that it creates this just really gentle gradient all the way throughout. So I'll come up nice and close, and you know what? I'm just gonna bring you a little bit closer. Yeah, that works. And then if I'm hanging out with Bonnie, no one needs to know. So right here, this very top one we've got, this is Mississippi Marsala, and it's actually leftovers that I had from another knitting project. And so I've got Mississippi Marsala that I used in my Alpenglow, and it goes all the way through, and then it transitions into right here, right at about the arm split. This is Slow Burn, which is the custom colorway for Farmers Daughter Fibres. And it's got lots of pinks and browns and blues, and it's just really stunning. And then originally I was going to use this Spincycle color called, it's not Cold Comfort, Absolute Zero. And it's very purpley and bluey, but I had a skein of Ghost Ranch, and I was like, let's just see what happens. And so my split between the two colors is just right here. So you can see right here, and then this is Ghost Ranch. And so that was just, or maybe it's here and here, something like that. The gradient was just too perfect. So then I went into Ghost Ranch. I love these like scummy, bluey, greeny things, but then it goes into this vibrant red. It's so cool for just that bottom pop on the cardigan. So I'm really, really happy with that one. And then on the sleeves, same thing. And then the Ghost Ranch is where you get that yellow, but then you go back to the Mississippi Marsala. So both of my sleeves end in just this beautiful, so this is the Ghost Ranch, this is the blue. And then right here is where you're getting that orange for the Mississippi Marsala. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. This is my second steeking experience. My first steeking experience was with a less than steekable fiber. And so I was really excited to try this one out, and it went pretty well. So I'll show you the buttons first before I undo the buttons. And so the buttons here, I used these little, they're kind of coppery colored buttons. I just got them from my local knitting store, and they were maybe, I don't know, 80 cents a piece. And so I put those all the way down. I was worried while I was sewing them on this afternoon that they would be a little bit heavy, but like when that cardigan was opened, but it wasn't at all. So I was really, really happy with that. So let me go ahead and open it. I'm excited that I'm trying this out. We'll see how it goes. So once I go ahead and open the cardigan, you'll see I really tried to, I really flirted with the devil, and I went ahead and I steeked it. But before I steeked it, I didn't do a crochet reinforcement. I didn't do a sewn reinforcement. I just tried felting it. Now, Spincycle is superwash, but it's known for being a little bit of a grippier superwash. And then I don't think the Brooklyn Tweed is superwash, but it's very soft. So I've got the ball of the Brooklyn Tweed down here. And so, whoops, wrong way. So you can see right here, it's very, very smooth. It's definitely not a woolen spun. It's definitely more of a worsted spun. Yeah, I think I've got that the right way. So it is, it's really, really smooth. So it doesn't have those scales like a Jameson and Smith or a very Scottish yarn would. So felt steeking, yes, but only with like the rustic of the rustic yarns in my next rendition. So you can see, you can see, I don't need to say anything. You can see. So it's, I did the steek, I picked up the button bands, and then I just whip stitched it down, and I think it's gonna be fine. If it's not, I'll let you know at another time. The yarn grew a little bit when blocking, which is a bit of a disappointment. Just it made my sleeves a little bit longer than I had anticipated. I did try to do some of the like smush and pat that Andrea Mowry talks about. And actually I've done that since before she mentioned it on her podcast, but varying levels of success. So anyways, it's adorable and I'm really happy with it, and I'm really excited to get some wear out of it. I think I need more fingering weight cardigans in my wardrobe, because I love my DK weight cardigans, but they're just so hot. And I'm an elementary music teacher. And so my colleagues call me Mary Poppins. And so I'm Mary Poppins all day. And when you're Mary Poppins, you get real hot because you're moving and dancing and singing, and it's all active instruction. It's very, very busy. And so I get toasty. And so I think a fingering weight cardigan wouldn't need to get removed as quickly as another weight cardigan. So that's all I have for finished objects, but I'm actually going to take a second and talk about what I'm wearing. I've been knitting really avidly since about February of 2020, which was perfect timing to get back into knitting. And so I've got a good collection of knit sweaters, and most of them I actually just keep right in here. And then my shawls are just back there. And actually I have quite a bit of them out because of course it's May 15th. It's smack dab in the middle of Me Made May. So we've got lots of cardigans upstairs in my bedroom and lots of sweaters upstairs in my bedroom. But here I've got my Pink Velvet by Andrea Mowry. You're gonna notice I do knit a lot of Andrea Mowry's sweaters. Not all of them are the greatest fits, but I've kind of figured out over time how to make the fit better so that I'm more comfortable with it and so that I feel a little bit better. So this is the Pink Velvet by Andrea Mowry, and I knit it with a single strand of a Surrey Alpaca, brush Surrey Alpaca silk right here, and then the mane is a merino silk nylon single from Farmers Daughter Fibres, and it is just the most stunning color. I absolutely love it. And you're gonna see here as well, yeah, there's some pilling, but that's just the reality of a handmade sweater. I've never once debobbled this or depilled it. It just kind of does its thing. So that's that, but it's a really nice lightweight layer. What I will say is one of the things that I do to my sweaters now is I'll add an extra set of short rows in the back. I find that just helps bring it up a little bit more, and it avoids this from choking me a little bit too much. And I think I will remake this pattern, and if/when I do, I've actually got some yarn right back there that I might like to remake it with. If/when I do, I wouldn't mind just casting on without doing the neckband. Casting on and then going back and picking up the neckband, and then that way I can have a little bit more flexibility for how open it ends up being over time. Another thing that I have noticed with my Andrea Mowry patterns, this I made in a size 3. I go back and forth between knitting a size 3 and a size 2 for my Andrea Mowry patterns. I have a total full bust of about 38 inches, but my bust to my under bust measurement, so full bust being the fullest part and then under bust being your rib cage right underneath, is quite significantly different. And so what I end up doing sometimes is I will go down to the size 2, because my bust measurement, my full bust measurement, being someone with a bit of a larger bust, doesn't always end up being representative of my shoulders or my rib cage or my sleeves or any of that. My waist measurement, my hip measurement, it doesn't necessarily correlate. And so with some of her patterns, especially the ones that call for lots of ease, I will typically size down into a size 2. But even for some of my other ones, I've sized down into a size 2, even if it's one that doesn't call for a lot of ease, and I just generally end up with a more comfortable fit. So next time I knit this, I'm thinking size 2, and pick up or cast on right away, go straight into the pattern, go back and knit the neckband after. And I'll just see how those adjustments go. But for this, it's a little bit cropped. It just goes kind of like my smallest part of my waist is right here. And so it's nice and flowy. I wear it over dresses and things like that. And it's really cozy. Today I'm just wearing it with a pair of shorts because it's hot outside. So that's what I'm wearing, and that's my only finished object. I do have a half finished object, and that is a sock. This, you can see, that's not going to get removed until I finish my sock. But this is my half finished object. It is a sock, just a classic shorty. I find I wear my shorty socks so much more often. Also, I run out of patience, so I just prefer to knit shorty socks. So I've got this nice minty green. This came in an advent calendar that I did from Rosehill Yarns in Alberta. Not Christmas of 2022, but Christmas of 2021. It was a 12 days of Christmas type thing. And so I went ahead and used this mini for the cuffs and the toes. I don't like to faff around with it for the heel, especially when I do shorties because it's so close to the cuff. So I just go ahead and do that. And then this is, let me check to see if that's showing up. Yeah, I don't know, it's tough to tell. Maybe I'm gonna try earlier in the day next time. But this is a, there we go, you can kind of get it. This is a Ancient Arts sock yarn, and their sock base is called Socknado, and it's plump and really, I really love it. This is in the colorway Antique, and I'm not totally sure what the combination is. I think it might be an 85-20 for superwash merino and nylon, but it's just a little bit more plump. It doesn't have quite 400 yards in it. So it has a little bit less meterage, but holy does it create a nice, cozy, just, oh yeah, just cozy is the only way I can describe it. When I'm wearing socks normally, I will, I like a tighter fit. I like a cozier fit. And other handmade socks that I've made from like a 75 or 75-25 mixture, sometimes they don't end up being thick enough. Like they kind of just feel thin. These don't feel thin. They feel kind of like my favorite sports sock. And I do heel flap and gusset. Traditional, I pick up a few extra stitches. When I pick up my heel flap stitches, I pick up 2 extra stitches in each corner. And then I don't decrease them out right away. I decrease them within my gusset decreases because I've got a higher arch. And so I like just having that little bit more space in my heel. And then about 5 rows after, I will start a slip stitch arch support panel. And so it's just the same kind of pattern that you do on your heel. And I do that for a total of 32 rows. So it ends up being like 16 slip stitch rows, but it just creates this really, really nice support panel that I find incredibly comfortable when I'm wearing my socks. And it means that my hand knit socks don't slip around. And then this is another 25 rounds, and then I go into my toe in my contrast color. So half finished object, and I'm just starting my heel flap on its partner, but this is just kind of my break knitting, something else, something small that I can pick up and put down very accessibly. So that is that. Moving along to, I guess, whips. Is that what we do? Is that how we roll? Oh, if you would like to see, this is what Antique looks like, that Socknado colorway. This is what Antique looks like when it's all skeined up. And yeah, I've got my overhead light right there, and it's pretty yellow. So this is definitely changing the color a little bit, but you get what you get. And you don't get upset. The other teachers in the room can finish that sentence for me. So I teach in French immersion, and I absolutely love it. But there are just some things that you just have to say in English. So you get what you get and you don't get upset. And my other one that my students love is, if you play before I say, I will take your instruments away. And it works every time. And they know it by like December of kindergarten. So it's a good one. Oh, if you wanted to see, I had this set aside. I've got I did a little color management with my Spincycle in my Shift Again. And so I've just got a bag full of little Spincycle nuggets. And I'm just gonna throw them, one of my bowls or vases up there is full of Spincycle, and right now it's full of complete skeins. It's the middle one. But I like to throw these in the bottom, and I can kind of just mix mix them in however I see fit. So time to clean out the project bag and go to something else. So my other project, now it's Me Made May, and I'm doing Me Made May very faithfully. And if you don't know what Me Made May is, you need to go and check it out on Instagram. I, on Instagram, am Wool and Cottonwoods, and on Ravelry, I'm Wool and Cottonwood, but I don't post very much on Ravelry. So I started this and I was like, it's gonna get hot, and it's gonna get hot fast. We had a super cool, like -20s in March, super cold spring. And then by the time that we rolled into April, it was kind of like, it wasn't anything spectacular. But then the forecast for May was like blazing, and it is. Not as hot as what Northern Alberta is getting. They're in the midst of a lot of wildfires right now. It's really scary, and I really feel for them. But yeah, we're still hot down here. And so I was like, I need some summer knits, and I need some summer knits yesterday. I need some summer knits 2 months ago, which every knitter knows that. So I cast on this ranunculus, and I'm using Rowan Cotton Cashmere. There goes a stitch marker. I'm using Rowan Cotton Cashmere, and this is in the colorway Dark Something. It's blocked off with the sticker. But I'm really enjoying this. I just went to my local yarn store, which I don't buy a ton from them, but they are really good for a wide, like having more commercial yarns. And in particular, I really enjoy Rowan. So it's just, yeah, this like dark sagey green color. It's looking, yeah, it's hard to tell with the yellow light. Sorry. I'll learn that from next time. So it is though. It's just, it's very pretty. It's very, it'll be very comfortable. I've got green eyes, so it'll help those to pop out at all. And this is how far I am. Turn it around. So I set aside my sleeve stitches. I am doing short sleeve, but I wanted to pick them up and knit in the round instead of having like the flute sleeve thing. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then also I didn't want to do a tubular cast on because I find it's really unreliable with how much it stretches out. So I did my German twisted cast on for what it called for. And in the pattern, you do your neckband and then you increase right away. And I tried it on and it was not going over my head. And I didn't want a wider neckline. I just wanted to be able to control it. So I just cast on for the amount of stitches that you would increase to right after the neckband. So I just cast that on. And I just tried it on earlier this afternoon and it looks really pretty. So I am doing size 6 needles. This yarn works out to about a DK-ish to light worsted weight. And so I'm taking the size, I think I ended up doing the size 1 numbers actually, because I don't want a ton of positive ease because I find that always makes my knits a lot more difficult to wear if they have a ridiculous amount of positive ease. But I just wanted that kind of like nice in between. I can wear it over a skirt or I can wear it with a pair of jeans, a pair of shorts, excuse me, something like that. So I went ahead and have separated for the sleeves, and I've got 1.5 inches done. And so I'm just going to keep going. I've got 2 more balls of yarn and we'll see how far I get. I might go back by the time I get into my last ball of yarn. I'll probably just go back, pick up the sleeves, and then knit until I run out of yarn. Why not? So that is my ranunculus. Didn't do extra short rows on this one because they've got short rows for a boat neck style. And yeah, I'm really excited to have this one done for this hot weather that we're going to be getting. So the cotton cashmere is an 85% cotton, 15% cashmere, I believe. Let me check that. Oh gosh. Yeah, 85% cotton, 15% cashmere. And so mostly cotton, and then the cashmere just offers it a really nice silkiness. And I actually bought, they had another color right over here. It's like a deep smoky purple. Oh, Gosh, now I know what everyone struggles with all the time. And they had this on sale. And so I, like 30% off. I think it's just an out of season color from last season. And so I got this and I'm going to make a Tolsta tee, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But I'm really enjoying the base. It's got a nice feel to it, a nice hand. It doesn't hurt too much to knit with. And so I'm really comfortable with it. And I think I'm probably going to power through this between like today and tomorrow because I'm ready to wear it. So that's what's going to happen there. Doesn't feel too crunchy, very, very drapey. So yeah, enjoying that. That is my Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. And then, yeah, my last whip. Oh no, I've got one more. That was a lie. So my second last whip. This is something that's gotten a lot of work lately, and I'm really, really happy with it so far. This is the Coloring Book Tee by Amy Scher. And it's on a tiny needle, so you're gonna have to forgive me. This is where we are so far, and I am just, yeah, this isn't gonna do anything. I'm just getting to the point where I'm getting close to the end of the Raglan. The Raglan, it's called a compound Raglan. And I'm really excited. There's been a lot of talk about compound Raglans and how good the fit is. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. And like I was talking about with the fit of a neckband, this one is same thing. You cast on and then you pick up the stitches later and knit your neckband. So I'm excited for that kind of customability of fit. Bonnie's coming back in, so she might come and join us. I hope you heard that, because it's adorable. She's a Himalayan and she's very tiny. She's like 6 pounds, but it's all hair. Come here. I have to show you. This is Bonnie. She doesn't like it when I hold her like this, but she kind of puts up with it. So she's very pretty and she definitely knows it. Good girl. Oh, you're gonna stay here? Okay, yeah, she's purring, so she's gonna stay here. She's just like a big rag doll. Well, a little rag doll to be precise. Now she jumped down. So we've got just the beginning of the Raglan, and what I'm really excited about, and I've been thinking of this color combination for quite some time, is in the Coloring Book Tee, there's a bunch of different variations. This one I'm going to be doing the long sleeve with the stripes, and my stripes are going to be this beautiful light pink. And so, oh, and the light is just getting worse and worse as my sun moves. It's nowhere near sunset, but I'm just sitting in my basement office. So got a nice big window over here, but I just need to figure out the right time of day to podcast. Oh well. So yeah, just with these pink stripes, and I'm really, really excited to see how that turns up. The first stripe starts right after the split for sleeves. So being close to the end of the Raglan, I think I'll be there pretty soon. So this yarn though is super exciting. It is from Crux Fibres, who is a wonderful, wonderful yarn dyer based out of Whitehorse in the Yukon. And this is a base that she did a big sale on a few months ago, and I bought a lot. It's not all this base, but there is a lot of it in there. So I'm really enjoying it. It is a 51% baby alpaca, 25% linen, and 24% Tussa silk. So high linen content, which means it has next to no elasticity, but it's very, very comfortable to knit with. And the drape, here's my swatch. The drape is just stunning, and it's soft and it's just buttery. It doesn't feel hot, even though, yeah, like baby alpaca or alpaca in general is a toasty fiber. So we'll see how it ends up working out once I actually get to wear the garment. But yeah, when I first finished the swatch, I was like, oh, this feels a little bit crunchy, but the magic of that linen is just that it is going to just totally soften up. So I'm really excited to have this as just a nice spring, fall, cold, summer garment. It's going to be so fun. So I've got here the color Silver Tip. And yeah, this is from Brittany with Crux Fibres. I met her, my partner Jeffrey and I went to Whitehorse this summer, and it was amazing. It was like a long weekend. Like we left on a Thursday, got back on the Monday or something like that. And I got to meet Brittany when we were up there. We were to visit one of his friends from university, but I sent her a message on Instagram and she was so delightful. And we had so much fun. And I'm from Northern BC. Pardon, Bonnie. I'm from Northern BC, which is not nearly as far north as Whitehorse, but still lots to bond over. So that is my alpaca linen silk from Brittany, and I've got lots of other summer garments planned in this yarn throughout the rest of the year. So very exciting about my Crux Fibres yarn and the coloring book tee by Amy Scher. We'll see how the rest of it works up. But overall, I think it's going to be a really good fit. And I am knitting on this one. I went with size 3, just because it's going to be a little bit more oversized anyways. And I think I was on gauge. Sorry, I just dive right in. So this is what you get. So that's my Crux Fibres and my coloring book Raglan. No, coloring book tee. She has a coloring book Raglan that is a larger gauge. So yeah, I'm knitting this on a 3.5mm needle. So I think that's gauge anyways. Enough talk about gauge. And that is actually in one of my favorite bags. This is by that Crafty Fox. She's based out of the States, but it is so totally worth it. I got this 2 years ago and it's absolutely amazing. She picks wonderful fabrics, and then the bottom and the back are all waxed canvas, and then the inside is just like fun pop. It's a really good size. It's not too big. I can easily carry this around with me, and sometimes I'll just throw my wallet and sunglasses in here and use it as a purse, and then I have my knitting with me anyways. So I went to Vancouver last weekend, and this is what I took all of my knitting in. So I brought my sock and this Raglan, and that's when most of that work got done. So it's very fun, very good bag, not too big, just the right size. And the zipper, I don't find, every once in a while, like mohair will get stuck in the zipper, but just deal with it and move on. I will be right back. I just have to go and get my one other whip. You'll see. Okay, so we're doing this in one take because I don't want to mess around with it. I think I'm going to lose my nerve if I don't just post it right away. So this is the Turtle Dove 2 by Espace Tricot. And this is just it's a long-term whip. I'm making it in Drops Air. And it's light and fluffy and cozy. And Jeffrey and I went to the movies. We went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which was hilarious. It was just so much fun. And so we watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I was all of a sudden, we're leaving, and I was like, I need some stockinette knitting, and the Raglan didn't work, and I hadn't split for sleeves on my ranunculus, and my next sock wasn't started, and besides they're shorties, so it's not actually a lot of just in the round knitting. I should probably just start another Oslo hat and have that, but I didn't have any stockinette knitting, and so I just pulled this one out. I hadn't worked on it in like a month, but I have right here a ridiculous amount of stitches on the needles. Oh, Clementine's here. She's our other kitty. She's a tortoise shell. She's twice the weight of Bonnie and very sassy. But I was almost done a ball of yarn right before the movie started, so I just went ahead and started the next ball and ripped off the old one. It's fine. So yeah, this is my, of course, the light is just not doing it any good. My Turtle Dove 2, and I'm excited for it to be done. And here's Clementine, and I think that's a wonderful way to end this Hey Mom podcast. Oh, shit. Sorry, everybody. She doesn't like being picked up. She's a very sassy girl. She's very pretty, though. So I think that's the perfect way to end my Hey Mom podcast. So I'm Wool and Cottonwoods. My name's Megan. It's been good to talk to you. It's been good to talk to my mom about my knitting. And I hope this isn't too morbid for anyone. I hope it's not too weird for anyone. But I just wanted to say, hey Mom, here's what I'm working on. So, hey everyone, here's what bunch of strangers, here's what I'm working on. This is really fun and kind of scary, and we'll see what happens. So if you're watching this, thank you so much, and feel free to subscribe, and I might have another video, or I might never do this again. We will see. Oh, I lied. There's one more thing I want to mention. As soon as I'm done my ranunculus, I'm casting on a cardigan for one of my friend's daughters, and she's about to be 6 at the beginning of June, and I'm going to make her a cardigan out of this beautiful yarn. It's from Lily and Pine. It's her DK. It's either the Birch Sport or the Elm Sport. This is the superwash one, and it's in the color Truly Outrageous, because it is truly outrageous. And this lovely, she's kind of like a niece to me, she loves the color pink, and so I'm gonna make her a cardigan, and she's gonna love it. So she loves wearing dresses, and cardigan too is easier growth wise, so I'm really excited to make this. So I've already swatched. The swatch is just soaking upstairs, and so I'm really excited to get going with this as soon as I'm done my ranunculus. And then that way I've kind of got, you know, just, I like to have a few different projects mixed up. Anyways, that is more than enough. I will see you next time if I do this again. And thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy some sunshine. Be kind to those around you, and be kind to yourself. Bye.